Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up, It's the Law. A new executive order signed by President Trump has sparked a nationwide debate over gender identity and government policy. The order directs the U.S. State Department to suspend all passport applications for gender changes, effectively recognizing that the only sex that is assigned at birth is the one that is going to be recognized on your passport. This decision has drawn sharp reactions from advocacy groups, legal experts, and social media users. And tonight we're going to break down this policy, its legal implications, and the broader impact on transgender Americans. Let's dive in. This policy, which was announced last week, reverses a 2010 rule that allowed transgender individuals to change the gender marked on their passports with a doctor's certification. Under this new directive, passports would only reflect the sex listed on a person's birth certificate. Now, the supporters of this move argue that this ensures consistency in legal documents, while critics call it a direct attack on transgender rights. Can you believe it? Let's break the policy down. To understand the policy's impact, let's start with the basics. The State Department's decision means that transgender individuals will no longer be able to update their passports to reflect their own personal gender identity, not the one that was assigned to them at birth. This affects not only travel, but also access to employment, healthcare, and other services that require such identification. A State Department spokesperson has stated that this type of policy aligns with the administration's commitment to ensuring that legal documents are based on objective, not subjective, objective, verifiable criteria, because biological sex is clear and consistent when it comes to identification processes and identification purposes. Now, the announcement has ignited a firestorm on social media with hashtags like #passportprotest and #genderdebate trending nationwide. Let's take a look at some of these reactions. One post from one individual stated, quote, "Under Trump's new policy, I guess my passport will now might as well say unicorn, since that's as accurate as my birth sex. #passport protest." Another post said, "Biological sex is real. Gender identity is a choice. Thank you very much, Mr. President Trump, for standing up for the truth. #gender debate." And yet a third post has said, "This policy is a slap in the face for transgender Americans. Our identities are not up for debate. #trans rights are human rights." Now, while some of these posts use humor to highlight the policy's absurdity, others reflect deep frustration and fear, which I believe is completely unjustified. For many transgender individuals, this decision is more than just bureaucratic. It feels like a personal attack, simply because they can't put their own desired gender on a legal document. Now, it's one thing to go around and claim a certain gender, but to have an alternative gender on your own legal documents, I don't believe is correct. So President Trump's decision is accurate in my mind. Beyond the scope of the social media debate, the policy raises significant legal questions. Constitutional law experts have argued that the policy could face challenges on multiple fronts. First, it may violate the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment by discriminating against transgender individuals. Courts have increasingly recognized gender identity as a protected category under anti-discrimination laws. Another key issue is the administrative process, because now federal agencies are required to follow certain procedures when changing policies, including providing a rationale and allowing for public comment. If the State Department didn't follow these steps, the policy could be struck down simply on procedural grounds. In addition, this policy could impact international travel for transgender Americans. Many countries have strict gender identity laws, and a passport that doesn't match a person's appearance could lead to delays, delays, harassment, or even denial of entry. Now, this creates a significant risk for transgender travelers. Now, let's talk about the human impact and advocacy. For transgender individuals, this policy is not just a legal issue. It's a matter of safety and dignity. For instance, Alex Rivera, a transgender rights activist, shared their perspective on social media. Some people have called this policy devastating, stating that for many of them, having a passport that reflects their gender identity is essential for daily life. It's about being seen and respected for who they are. This decision sends a message that their identities don't matter, and that's incredibly painful. To which I would respond, it is one thing to have your gender identity in your day-to-day lives, but government agencies need to know your biological gender for legal purposes. These people have also highlighted the practical risks of this policy, such as the dangers of traveling with a passport that doesn't match one's appearance. But on the other side of the debate, conservatives argue that the policy is about maintaining consistency in legal documents. Otherwise, legal documents become meaningless. Conservatives have been noted as saying this policy is about ensuring that legal documents are accurate and consistent. Biological sex is a factual, objective category, while gender identity is subjective, and gender identity has no place in legal documents. The government has a responsibility to ensure that official documents are based on verifiable, objective, again, not subjective, criteria. So what's next in this whole passport gender identity debate? As some of you already know, this policy is part of a much larger pattern of actions by the Trump administration regarding transgender rights, including the ban on transgender military service and the rollback of healthcare protections. In the meantime, this decision is going to have real and lasting consequences for transgender Americans. Nevertheless, it is important for many agencies to know that the biological sex of a person rather than what they would prefer to be called, thus avoiding any confusion for the person reading their legal documents, such as a passport. Some people say that changing your gender is nothing more than a mental illness and a cry for attention. Trump is simply trying to bring back traditional values, and many Americans support that. Trump's actions also mimic actions that have taken place in other countries. As we wrap up tonight's coverage, it's clear that this policy has far-reaching implications, legally, socially, and personally. While the debate over gender identity and government policy continues, one thing is certain. This decision is going to have a profound impact on the lives of transgender Americans, for better or for worse. What do you think? Do you think it is right for the government to mandate your birth-given gender on your legal documents? Or do you think that a person should have the right to choose whatever they want to put on their passport? Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and also share this video. Feel free to do so. Feel free to share this video with your friends, your family, and if you feel like they could learn something new, absolutely share this video. Until then, I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.